It's going to turn up just a little bit. Chili is one of those very versatile dishes that you can cook at any time. It maybe takes less than 10 minutes to make a really good pot of chili. At this time, as the hamburger is warming up, I'm going to cut our onion. Now this onion is kind of big, so I might only use half of it depending on what size I cut it in. Now a good way to chop an onion is to take off the ends and then just slice it down the middle, and then you just remove the skin here, just like that. Now, if you're not really good at chopping, you need to be careful because obviously you can cut yourself with a knife, like I have done many times in the past. Now, when I cut an onion, generally what I do is I hold here, I slice down, which is probably not the best technique, but I'm not a trained chef, so I just do it the way I want to. Obviously cut the onion any which way that you would like, but it's the way that I do it. Now, the choice is up to you of how big of chunks that you like. I like my onion to be fairly small. I don't like biting into my chili and getting a huge amount of onion because it can kind of take away from the rest of the flavors. Just chopping it like this. You know, you want to use a good quality knife if you have one when you chop an onion, but you also got to be very careful of your fingers. So I'm just going to stir this up and break down the meat a bit more. So I'm going to add the onions, and what this does at this time is it cooks the onions, but it's not necessarily like frying the onions up, so you don't get that brownness to the onion. You're going to get like a sweet taste to it because it sort of sweats down with the meat as it cooks. At this time, I'm going to add a little bit of cracked black pepper. Now, if you don't have cracked black pepper, that's fine. You can just use ground pepper if that's all you have. Do it to taste. Do it to how much heat that you want to have in your chili. I'm also going to use just a little bit of sea salt. I didn't grind that up, but that's okay because I'm not using that much because chili powder tends to be a bit salty anyway. So, now we're going to move on to the jalapeno peppers. If you have a food processor, you can put the jalapeno peppers in the processor. Make sure you take the stem off, grind them up, and then throw them in the pot. I, however, like to cut my jalapeno peppers, and I'm going to use a little knife. Now, I wear contact lenses, so this is a tip. If you wear contact lenses and you cut up a jalapeno pepper, do not touch your eyes. After you've done it, you will get a serious burn. I know I've done it before in the past, and it hurts a lot. So what I'm doing here with the jalapenos, I'm just going to cut it up into chunks. Now, I'm only putting 3 jalapeno peppers in this particular pot of chili because I'm serving it at my friend Andrea's house this evening, and I'm not sure how much heat that they like. If you like a lot of heat, definitely put more in. If I'm making this for my ex, I generally put in about 8 or 9 jalapeno peppers, but he likes a lot of heat. If I'm making it for my other friends, I just put maybe 4 or 5, depending on what they like. A tip, I messed up a pot of chili once because I put habanero peppers in, which are those really hot peppers, and I didn't think they were that hot, so I put about 9 habanero peppers in, and needless to say, we couldn't eat the chili because it was so hot that nobody could even take a bite of it. Even Jake, who likes extreme spice. So that's my tip. If you're going to use a habanero pepper, use 1. In fact, I would just avoid them altogether. Just stick with jalapenos. They're safer pepper. They're not too high on the heat scale. Now I keep the seeds in my peppers. You can choose to take them out if you want, because the heat is in the seeds. Like I said, this is like the base of a good chili. After you've cooked down the hamburger with the jalapeno and the onions, and then you add the chili powder, at that point you can choose to add any kind of stuff that you like. If you want to add regular peppers like green, red, orange, by all means do so after that point. You can add mushrooms. I had people ask for carrots in their chili. It all depends on what you like. As long as you have the base of the chili set and intact, you can do whatever you want with the chili. And that's it for cutting. You don't need to cut anything else. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to stir this all up and break down the hamburger. Now, you want to make sure the hamburger is fully cooked before you add the chili powder or any other ingredient, because this is the time where you want the hamburger to brown and marry its flavors with the jalapeno and the onion. Now, chili powder. There's many different kinds of chili powder. I like this kind, which is just the no-name brand. I like getting it in the packages because I generally use, depending on the hamburger, I generally use about a half a pack of the chili powder. I like to make sure that everything's completely coated, including the onions and the jalapenos. I think you get a better flavor. I think the intensity of it is better. You can use those little pre-packaged chilies that you get from Clubhouse or any of the other stuff that they make. However, I find that one package just doesn't cut it. I don't think that you get the right flavor. I personally think that you should cover everything with chili powder, because then every bite that you get has that flavor in there. It also intensifies if you leave the chili overnight. You can definitely make this the day before, leave it in your fridge to sit, and it just gets better with age. I wouldn't leave the chili too long, maybe 3 to 4 days in the fridge. If you find that you still have a lot of chili left, you can take it and put it in those Ziploc containers and freeze it. One container of just the regular size containers that holds 500 milliliters of liquid, it generally can feed one person. You could probably do 2 sparingly if you had toast with your chili. But this is great for a single guy. You can make 1 pot of chili and you can freeze it, and as it defrosts, then the flavors get better because it's marrying with the other flavors as it's defrosting. Right now, at this point, my onions have cooked down and my jalapenos are soft and my hamburger's almost soft. However, I don't think I have enough black pepper in here. I like a lot of black pepper. It gives you a different kind of heat than the jalapeno and from the chili powder. It touches a different part of your tongue, so it gives you a different kind of heat. By all means, you can also add, I've also added Tabasco sauce after I put in all the other liquid stuff. And I've also added cayenne pepper, white pepper. It just, you can kind of play with the spice a bit until you figure out how you like it. It's all a matter of taste, a matter of what your family